Hello folks and welcome to a very interesting modern stream. We're going to be playing a Dono deck list by Toolbox Hero, and their name could not be more accurate considering that we're going to be playing a Fiend Artisan deck. This card has actually been seeing a lot of play in Legacy of all places right now. Actually before the initiative thing came up, but whatever. In Elves decks, turns out that this little creature went under the radar for a very, very long time, but people are finally catching on to it. And it's actually quite interesting. So for 2 mana, which hybrid black and green, but like for our purpose it's going to be just green, we get a 1/1 that it gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, and then you can pay X and green or black, and you tap it and you sacrifice another creature and you search a layer for a creature card with mana value X or less. You put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. So the idea is that this little guy is going to enable us to do to go get creatures that are gonna be sort of, you know, toolbox creatures. So stuff like a Green Sun Zenith or whatever, as we see in Legacy, or even something like Eladamber Skull, which is something that you will be more familiar with if you've been watching my content. But what do we need in order to make Fiend Artisan work? We need creatures, you guessed it right. So we're going to have from the 1-drop all the way to 5 drops, I guess. And we're going to have 3 copies of Ragavan, 2 Ignoble Hierarch, 3 Noble Hierarch. This is going to be like our mana dorks. We also are going to have access to 3 Voice of Resurgence and 3 Thalias, alongside 3 copies of Knight of the Reliquary and 1 copy of Endurance. Those are the I guess 2 soldiers as well, but those are like the big creatures. Everything else is going to just be a toolbox target. So we're going to have access to Outland Liberator in order to be able to destroy artifacts or enchantments. We're going to have access to Collector Oof. Obviously, this is going to be pretty great versus the artifact decks where we manage to just lock them out. We also have access to Renegade Rallier, which is a card that it's going to give us value. And of course, Fiend Artisan Sacrificing Voice is going to be like a very interesting synergy going on. And then you can sack your Voice to get Renegade Rallier to get back your Voice. That obviously is a very, very interesting value engine that we have sort of hooked in there. And then finally, a copy of Tireless Tracker, which we can of course tutor for. So those are the ideas. We actually have access to a pretty significant amount of value between Tracker, Knights, Renegade Rallier, and the Fiend Artisan itself. Sacrificing Voice of Resurgence, also quite interesting. And then, of course, we have an interesting card. Dread Arbor is a card that we can find off of a fetch land, right? So we can find it off of Winds of Heath or Wooded Foothills. And this is a way that we can actually, from a land, we can use a fetch land in order to fetch Arbor, and then before our opponent gets priority, we can sacrifice it to Fiend Artisan, and then we can just go get something else instead. So that's going to be like an interesting line that we're going to have access to. Besides that, we just have some very, very small toolbox of lands. That is Blast Zone, Ghost Squatter, and Raging Ravine. Those are the only cards that we can really get from Knight of the Reliquary. But we're not really trying to do Knight of the Reliquary things. We're playing Ren mostly because it's just broken more than anything else. And Lightning Bolt is our removal spell of choice. In the sideboard, we have more toolbox creatures, that is Dranith Magistrate, Magus of the Moon, the 4th copy of Endurance, Clothis, Gadok Teague. Those are going to be all of our tutor targets. And then we have some Force of Vigors in order to remove artifacts, enchantments, Path to Exile, mostly against Murktide decks, Fiery Justice against the creature decks, so we can actually have like a sort of sweeper going on. A couple of copies of Engineer Explosives, and a single Tombow Jugabog that we of course can find with Knight of the Reliquary. This deck list has a lot of things that I like a lot and some things that I don't like as much. So what I want to do is I want to just play through a league, and then after the league is done and we can have some more information, we're going to go over some potential changes in order to improve on this deck list. So we're going to see how this goes. Really looking forward to this one. It's a lot of fun. Thank you for the Dono Toolbox Hero. And if you would like to support my content as well, you yourself can also make a donation, which any donation of $30 or more, I can play any deck list of your choosing, just like you see right here. There we go. You can see my hands there. And you can also support my content through Patreon and through coaching, booking coaching sessions on MetaFi. And let's jump to some modern matches. Okay, here we go. Playing against a Jegantha deck, because literally every deck is a Jegantha deck these days in modern. And we are faced with the first problem about this deck. There's a lot of lands that don't cast your monkey on turn 1. So this hand is actually quite good. The problem is that I can't cast my spells, so I have to ship it. Very awkward. Again, a hand that could not cast a monkey on turn 1, awkwardly enough. But I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to send back the Renegade Rallier. And we're just going to play Temple Guard and pass the turn back. We can play Fiend Artisan on 2, and then play Knight on turn 3. Ursa's Tower. Man, I really don't want to... Okay, good. So now I don't have to use this Boseiju, which is nice. I'm still going to deploy this Fiend Artisan here. And we can, I guess, Boseiju on 3. Okay, I don't even have to Boseiju on 3. Okay, so they're playing the Aspiring Spike deck. Interesting. So I can play Voice... Yeah, this is just better. So I'm just going to spend this turn to play the Voice, and then I'm just gonna get Collector Roof next turn. And that should, I think, lock my opponent out of the game. Scrap Trawler, sounds good. That's a land. So this is X equals 2. Sack that. Always yield. Collector Roof. GG. Holding on to the Boseiju, I may want to blow something up. We don't know yet. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be blowing up with the Boseiju. Perfect. It all worked out. Alright, that's a land. So now I can bolt this Scrap Trawler. Opponent gets nothing back. Play Ignoble Hierarch. And now we're going to swing with everything. Opponent's going to uptick the Blast Zone. Perfect. And now we can Boseiju it. I imagine that's going to be GG's. Main deck Collector Roof. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so Force of Vigor obviously coming in. Prismatic Ending is interesting. I definitely want Magus. Thalia also looks great. Teague. Teague stops Karn the Great Creator, and it stops the 4-drop artifact, so that's probably fine. Endurance stops the combo. That seems fine. So we're gonna cut the bolts, cut Solitude, and I think that's it. I guess we could cut the either the Renegade Rallier or Endurance. Also, I just realized that I joined this league with the wrong deck list. Whoops. I was starting to make some changes to the deck list in order to improve it. So I was thinking, oh, where's I can get my Ghost Quarter with Knight of the Reliquary, but it's just like, no, actually there's no Ghost Quarter in the deck. My bad. My bad. The funny thing is, like, I didn't even finish making the changes. These were some preliminary changes, so this is awkward. All right, I'm sorry about this. So this is not going to be exactly the deck list that I did the deck tech with. I'm sorry about that, Toolbox Hero, but it should be close enough. But again, this is not the definite deck list that I would submit anyway. I'm just going to cut the Renegade Rallier here. Ugh. This is awful. I'm going to keep this hand though, because Teague seems very good. Fiend Artisan seems very good. And we actually have 2 free forms of interaction. So even though we can't actually cast a monkey, obviously we can just draw an untapped red source and then we're just going to be Gucci. But even if we don't, like, any land just helps us immensely. And even if we don't find any land, we still have game. So fetch land is my best draw, which we have 9 fetch land. Mirror Retriever. Okay. That's not a fetch land, so we're just gonna discard the Red and 6. Maybe I should have pitched the Fiend Artisan. Semblance Anvil. So I'm just gonna wait for my opponent to exile whatever they will. Another Mirror Retriever. So now we can force the Anvil. Let's untap. Actually, if I whiff on a land, I'm just gonna force here. Pitching the Fiend Artisan. They're gonna get back the Anvil, but that means they have to exile another card, so I'm fine with that. Untap. Still don't find a land. Just pass the turn back. Inventor's Fair. Mystic Forge. Yep. The last card in hand is an Anvil. It's a very good last card to have, for sure. But yeah, this deck is not a 22 land deck. This is a 23 land deck. Okay, there we go. So, I'm gonna say yes to that. And we can get Fiend Artisan or we can play Gadok. I think I want to get the Artisan play. No, actually I want to get the Gadok in play so my opponent can't cast Karn. We can pitch this Knight of the Reliquary to the Endurance if we need to. Okay, so they exile the top card. This locks me out of casting my own forces, so this is not a free play. Now they have Tron complete, so they're going to be able to go off a little bit over there. So at this point, I think the only card that saves me is specifically Collector Roof off the top, because I'm not going to have time to Fiend Artisan. I mean, I don't lose, right, because I still have the Endurance. So I'm not straight up dead. Like, I can potentially just spend this turn to play Fiend Artisan and then Endurance. Expedition map cracked just to shuffle. I imagine they're gonna get Blast Zone. They are. Grinding Station. Okay, I passed the turn. Another Endurance. Alright, here's a Fiend Artisan. And would be awesome to find a land. The good thing is we can use the Endurance to like not mill. So I think that the proper way to use the Endurance would be to, after my opponent has entirely milled me out, we just upkeep Endurance myself. They crack Expedition map to shuffle. Basic. Well, at this point they have the Blast Zone too. The Blast Zone does blow up their own Grinding Station, but they're gonna draw enough cards so that it doesn't actually matter. So I think I'm just gonna concede here. It's gonna take them a minute to actually kill me, but I think that we're just dead. Okay, game number 3. I just realized that this blanks the 4-drop artifact, so I'm interested in the Dvanith Magistrate. Nothing else really, so I'm just gonna cut this tracker. Okay, yeah, skip this hand. Turn to Teague / Thalia / I'm probably gonna go Thalia turn 2. Then we can potentially Teague on 3 or Knight, depending on what they do. But this is nice. We even get to like Prismatic Ending if they play a 2-drop that we want to get rid of. Let's play a land, say go. Sure. Land is not the worst. So let's get Temple Garden. I want more white mana. Here's Thalia, go. And I think I'm just going to play Knight of the Reliquary. I think Thalia is going to delay things a good amount. I could ending this too. We can dash Monkey into... Alternatively, I could just like ending this plus cast Monkey. Because my opponent is super far away from... I guess, yeah, this actually gets Blast Zone. So I'm kind of interested in getting rid of this. So I think I'm just going to go... Also, after I cast Teague, I'm not going to be able to do anything like that. So let's go this and be... Yeah. Then cast Monkey and serve with Thalia. So the next turn we're going to have a ton of options. Expedition map. Okay. So Prismatic Ending was kind of a time walk there. Redundant Thalia doesn't really do too much. So let's just serve. And I don't think my opponent's... If I play my entire hand... Yeah, I'm just going to play my entire hand here. And if I do that, I don't think that there's too much that my opponent can do, really, to race me. So, white, green, and then green, colorless, white. And even if they go get Blast Zone, we still beat Blast Zone. They need to spend one full turn to like do anything, and then to like charge up the Blast Zone. Can't cast that one. So I guess I can attack and then crack the Blast Zone. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Opponent down to 4. This also makes it so I kill my own Monkey, but I kill my opponent's Expedition map, which also makes their Inventor Sphere worse. Yeah, I think this is worth it. So let's just sack Blast Zone here. Yeah, excellent. Alright, wanna know? Maverick, very much alive. Oh man, this mana base is gonna kill me. I mean, I'm gonna keep this one, but yikes. Big yikes. Let's bottom the monkey. Yeah. Esper Sentinel. So we can go Hierarch on 1. Damn. It's rough out there. It is rough out there. So if they don't do a bunch of things here, maybe this Thalia can... Never mind. Maybe these... I was gonna say maybe this Thalia can do some work, but that's just not gonna be the... can we beat this? Prismatic Ending. We actually have Prismatic Ending in the deck, so we can beat it. And we have to draw Prismatic Ending right now. Solitude would be another option. That does not do it, so I'm just gonna hide information. Okay, so... Versus Hammer. These cards are good. This is also good. This is probably like a fine one-off to have access to that I can tutor for. Fire Justice is tempting. This is actually pretty tempting. Cards I don't care about. Endurance. These can go. Tireless Tracker. Maybe Fire Justice is fine. We'll see. This is the maybe pile over here. I think Thalia is just not good, even on the play. It just doesn't do enough, right? Like you're just turning their 1-drops into 2-drops. That's just not impactful enough. Renegade Rallier is interesting as a way to get back other stuff. I think I'm gonna cut some amount of voices. Ren seems great on the play. I guess I can just cut the monkeys. How does this look like? Yeah, this looks fine. Let's go with this. We're on the play. This hand looks fine. Keep this. So we can go turn 1, fetch land. And if they do nothing, we can just fetch for a Triumph. And if they do anything, we can just bolt whatever they do. We have some pretty nice amount of removal. Yeah, this is a quite strong hand, I think. Too bad that the Artisan activations are only sorcery speed, so I can't do the trick of play out like Solitude and then sack it to the Artisan or whatever. Ginger Brute. Yeah, I'm gonna kill this. Might as well. So I don't have any double green cards in my... Oh, never mind. I do have a double green card right here. Good thing that I just thought about this before actually doing something. So, just gonna bolt this thing so that I can just Artisan on 2. Another bolt. Unclear whether it's good or not just yet. Here's a Fiend Artisan. Here you go. It'd be really nice if I could like pitch to Solitude or whatever. Like pitch to Solitude and then just sack it to the Artisan. Very nice. Just do nothing? They just do nothing. I think I'm just Prismatic Ending this. Like I'm gonna have to do this eventually. That's pretty awful though. Like I just drew... Like I didn't draw land. And I also did not draw any fodder for the Artisan. Like we just did nothing that turn, right? Just did nothing of importance. They're gonna start speeding up constructs, which is bad for me for obvious reasons. And this is rough. This is very rough. So I can't attack. I do think I'm gonna bolt this. The good thing is I still have the Solitude at least, but it would have been great to just like... No, okay. Opponent's just like draw step doing this. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think they just have like a random draw step stop for whatever reason. Okay. So they don't make it 1-1. Go to main phase. They're gonna get something. Maybe a hammer. Spring Leaf Draw. Okay. I'm just passing the turn back. Okay. Well, I'm gonna ending that thing. Still no lands. They just have the... This is really annoying. I'm gonna attack because I'm not blocking, so... If I find any land, maybe I can cash in this Fire Justice. Which again, I don't think this should be in the deck. As I was saying earlier, I just joined the league with the wrong deck list. And I... Brutal. Yeah, so I'm just gonna lose to Prismatic and to the Blacksmith skill here, probably. Yeah. So, just gonna Solitude that thing. So bad. Hey, at least it grows my Fiend Artisan, I guess. So for 2. It's kind of unfortunate that I won the first round, actually, because if I had just lost the first round, I could have dropped and joined a new league, but I don't want to drop while I'm winning with the with the Dono deck, right? So it's kind of awkward. So the bad thing now is that this Magus does absolutely nothing for me. So this is a blank, and this is also kind of a blank. All right, that helps a little bit. Mostly because this is either something I can sack to get Collector Roof or whatever, or this is something that means that I can play Magus and then I can sack the Magus. Also, if they play something... Ugh, so now I lose. Because I have to chomp block. Yeah, so we just lose. Alright, that sucks. See you next round. So this is a turn 2 Ren hand with Boseiju. I guess I keep this. We're on the play. Pass the turn here. Hopefully we're playing against the deck Ren is good against. Basic planes. Okay. Fetch. Get Triumph. There's no way I get got by Mana Tide, right? My opponent wouldn't do that to me, right? Inkmoth Nexus. Another Hammer Gamer. Okay. So we have some options here. Would love to find a bolt so I can kill this, because if my opponent gets Kaldra is kind of tough for me to deal with. Sword of Fire and Ice. I can beat that one. Hey, look at that. So, okay. So we can go... I don't need to Boseiju. So we can just go fetch for tapped Stomping Ground. We're gonna bolt here. Play Hierarch. Plus on land, say go. So next turn I can start doing Boseiju things. Well, that's a good Boseiju target. They play the sword. Okay. Interesting. So let's Boseiju that. Plus on Boseiju. Play Foothills and say go. So we can play Endurance as a blocker if we want to. I'm probably going to. Another Saga. Sentinel is fine. Suit up the Sentinel. You got it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go Boseiju your Saga on end step. They can have this skill, but then I just untap and I just do this again. So it's not that big of a deal. And the good thing is that Endurance blocks this Esper Sentinel right here very nicely. So I would say we are ahead. Oof, that's pretty good. So untap, draw Boseiju. Huh. Do I just want to play out this Liberator? I think I'm just gonna play this out tapped. And I'm just gonna play this Outland Liberator. Pass the turn. So we have multiple options here. We have Liberator plus Boseiju available to us. 2 mana. Paladin, you got it. Drum, resolves. So now they can equip for 0. Colossus Hammer. Sure, that's fine. I mean, there's not much I can do about that anyway. They don't have Trample though. There's a land. They suit up. Sentinel. And they're gonna swing. And I think I'm gonna Boseiju the Sentinel here. So Boseiju the Esper Sentinel. They can have double skill, but if they have double skill, whatever. I guess I should have blocked first. I should have blocked with Outland Liberator, then done that. So this was a pretty bad mistake, actually, because if they have double skill, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble here. But at this point, I'm just locked into this play. So if they have double skill, I probably just lose it. This was just poorly sequenced on my part. Okay, they don't have double skill. Good. So they're gonna suit up the Paladin, but I can just Boseiju the Hammer. Monkey. Okay, so play land. Plus on Boseiju. Cast this. And this has Pro Red, so I can't block with Monkey. I'm just gonna pass the turn here. Just gonna hope. They didn't have skill last turn, so I'm gonna hope that they just don't top deck it. Shadow Spear is quite good. So I guess I'm gonna have to kill the Shadow Spear with this Boseiju. So I can chump block with Hierarch. Okay. We have another Hammer. Jesus. That is a lot. That is a lot. Another Inkmoth. Alright. Another Hammer. Draws another card. So what are we gonna do here? We have to destroy Shadow Spear. We have to destroy Shadow Spear. Block Endurance on Inkmoth. And then chump. Then we're gonna have to chump the Paladin with the Noble Hierarch. Do I? No, I'm just gonna target nothing. Because this bolt can give me like Ren ultimate. So block here, Boseiju the Shadow Spear. Oh, that's right, it only costs 1 because of the monkey. So opponent can suit up the Thopter. Okay. So now I can't attack. So let's fetch. Actually, we have Renegade Rallier. I should not have fetched there. Fetching was bad. Knight of the Reliquary. If I get back Boseiju, can I win? I get back Boseiju because they have 2 hammers. They just suit up both Think Moths and I lose. I can attack, kill one of the hammers. That doesn't really do anything. I think I'm just dead here. I needed to find like my second Solitude or like a Prismatic Ending or something. Because if I Prismatic Ending the Paladin, that's it. I would just win. Because all of their cards just don't do anything. Yeah. I'm just gonna lose this one. Is there anything I can find from their deck that can give me a way to win? Because I can Boseiju the Thopter in order to hit with Monkey. But I don't think there's anything I can find. I play out Knight. It's gonna be a 5/5. But it just doesn't do anything. I still die in the air to the Inkmoth Nexi. Because they have enough mana to equip, activate both, and keep both of them flying. Okay, that sucks. So same cards coming in. I think Magus is fine. I'm kind of not loving the Fiery Justices over there. So cut Tracker, cut Endurance, cut Thalias, cut Monkeys. Maybe 1 Fiery Justice is fine. Alright, yeah, we're gonna keep this hand. We're definitely gonna keep this hand. So we get Fiend Artisan, we have Force of Vigor, Boseiju. This hand looks great. Damn. Okay. Yep. That's happening. There's no way that is not happening, right? That is happening. Alright, what do we find? Prismatic Ending. Okay, that's fine. Could be worse. So here's a Fiend Artisan. Here we go. My best draw is probably Voice of Resurgence? Damn. Opponent's so lucky. Opponent's so lucky finding the Ursa Sagas and stuff. I mean, this saga is not as threatening because it can't make constructs though, so I think I'm just going to let that saga go. So I'm gonna say no here, I'm just gonna swing. Let's see if my opponent blocks. They do. Okay. Got me. Not playing around Solitude. So we're gonna have Boseiju for this saga if things get out of hand, but I don't want to fix my opponent's mana, right? So I don't want to give them white mana, which they clearly are missing. Otherwise, they would have led on a white land first, so they can get their tokens from saga. So I don't think my opponent has very many lands. In fact, they have no other lands, so... Alright. So... Do I want to just... Yeah, I'm going to. I'm just gonna get Outland Liberator here. 6 equals 2... Sack that. Let's get Outland Liberator. Because if my opponent fails to play a spell, we can just flip this, and then we can just start just vindicating their stuff. So the alternative would have been to get Collector Roof, but considering the situation we find ourselves in right now, I think that this is better than Oof. Because it's gonna be really hard for my opponent to play multiple spells. Okay. Did manage to play a spell. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna attack with both and just attempt to flip this Outland Liberator, because it's gonna be pretty challenging for my opponent to play 2 spells unless they draw multiple zeros. Perfect. Okay, number 3. And do we want to change Cyberlink? I don't think so. Just gonna submit. One thing about this Cyberlink plan that can be a little bit problematic is that we actually are going we're actually going really low on creatures. So I think just because of that, I'm gonna bring back the monkey, just to add like 1 more creature that I can stack to Fiend Artisan. Maybe I should be doing the same over, I don't know, maybe the Wrens, maybe the Lightning Bolts, probably Prismatic Endings. But I'm playing like too many spells. So my Fiend Artisans become a lot worse because they don't really have fodder. It's close. It's interesting, right? The approach to the matchup could go a couple of different ways. Like I could just try to, like what I'm trying to do here is going a little bit more controlling and just try to control my opponent's board. What do we got here? We got a Solitude, we got a Chump Blocker, we got turn 2 Collector Roof. Lots to like about this hand. Lots to like about this hand. Turn 1 Fountain into Cigar Blade, okay? And the 0. Yeah, I'm just gonna play Catacombs and fetch for what's his name? Saga. All right, swing. Shadow Spear, yeah, that's fine. You can have your Shadow Spear. So I think I'm actually gonna play Voice of Resurgence onto second Sea Garden. Okay. Gonna find Jetmir's Garden and tap. Well, I can't cast that one. So green, white. Yeah, I think I'm just playing Voice. Just as a creature that can chump block. Opponent does find a land. I imagine they're just gonna make some Saga tokens. Opponent gonna be constructing over there. Fire and Ice. Okay. I mean, I have to solitude this, so pitch Voice. I'm gonna solitude the Thopter there. And now the good thing is I'm not gonna get attacked next turn. Prismatic Ending is interesting, but so my opponent's mana is gonna be being used to make a construct so they can suit up their thingy. So I can Prismatic Ending something, or I think I'm just gonna collect a Roof. This makes me regret a little bit that I went for the pitching Voice as opposed to pitching Rallier or Knight of the Reliquary. But it could be worse. So now we're gonna ending the construct. Brutal. Oh, that's so good for them. Force. Yeah, I'm just gonna end in the construct anyway. Now gonna play explosives. Actually, I'm gonna play explosives on 1, never mind. So playing explosives on 1 puts my opponent on a weird spot where they can actually answer my oof, or they cannot answer my oof, but I just blow up all of their ones. Maybe putting it on 0 would have been better because it deals with Thopter and constructs. Land? Not the best land, but okay, I'll take it. Green, white, white. Here's a Knight of the Reliquary. I'm just gonna pass the turn. So next turn we can Knight. Actually, we can blow up my opponent's ones and get back explosives on 0, which is kind of nice. I have to chump block with Collector Roof, but I think that seems acceptable. Oh, Needle on Knight? I mean, I guess they have to Needle on EE regardless. Yeah, they have to Needle on EE. Okay, so I'm gonna block Construct with... actually, I think I'm just gonna take 7 here. It's not like my opponent can do too much over there, so... Another Fiend Artisan, okay. So, sack this, get a fetch land. Oh, we can Blast Zone for 1? Well, that is sick. Wasn't thinking about that. Well, now I kind of... No, I'm just gonna... Because I kind of want to get back this Blast Zone. No, I'm just gonna Blast Zone for 1. Like, this is just too good, right? Blow up all the ones. Now their constructs are only 4/4s. Next turn I can Rally or get back the Blast Zone. Drum. Gonna block with Voice. Go to 4. Shadow Spear is gone, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Ooh, that's a good one. So, tap a mana. Sack. Get... Do I want to go to 3? Yeah, I do. Fetch. Basic Forest. Rallier. I think I get back Blast Zone. I could get back a land, or I could get back a Voice of Resurgence. All of these are very reasonable options. I think I'm going to go for Blast Zone. And I'm just attacking with Collector Roof. If they're going to attack with Constructs, I'm going to force both of those artifacts. See if they have the Pierce. They don't. So block both of these. Trade. And now we should be in pretty good shape. Lavinia. Yeah, it's not super good. Ooh, that's a good one. Ren and 6 plus get back Catacombs. Let's get back Sacred Foundry. Blade is stabbed. Say go. So I could have attacked with Knight there to force a chump on the Thopter, but the thing is that I think I'm chilling and I want to save until I can block with the Fiend Artisan. This also helps me grow the Knight a little bit, gives me fodder for Ren. Do I want to go to 2? That means that makes Lavinia a lethal attacker by itself, so I don't think I want to go that low. So let's get Stomping Ground. Untap. Just play Fiend Artisan here. Plus on Catacombs. Played out. Now at this point this is just a 2-turn clock, and I have 2 blockers for the Lavinia, so I'm okay doing this. I can also just uptick this Blast Zone. Also, I missed the point of damage, but I don't think it's going to matter because it doesn't really change the clock because of Steel Shaper's Gift. Nothing they can get here saves them, so they play out a hammer, which they can't equip. Alright, fetch. Now we're gonna go down to 2 because it just doesn't really matter. My opponent's gonna be chump blocking here. Another knight. Don't mind if I do. So they have to chump block both of them. So I guess I should have also attacked with the Collector Roof. Now they have to chump both of them because of this is locked up. Alright. They don't see the Ren line, so we win. Alright, we beat Hammer now. 2-1, not bad, not half bad. Oh wow, a hand that can actually cast Monkey on turn 1? Don't mind if I do. We also have Ignoble Hierarch, if Monkey for whatever reason is not the play. We also have Solitude. Lots to like about this hand. Playing against a Jegantha gamer. The Mull to 5. Bubble. Could be anything. Alright, opponent, you get to see the card on top of my deck. Such an advantage. Blood Crypt. Am I about to get scammed? Is this the dreaded bubble scam? Okay, so they know about this land, so I'm gonna play this one. I'm just gonna get, I think it's Stomping Ground. I'm just gonna play the monkey so I can block my opponent's monkey. So maybe they'll use the removal spell on this monkey, which would be pretty good for me. They have heat. Okay. I am gonna kill this monkey though. I can't let this. It sucks, but that's how Modern works. Your opponent plays a 1-drop and you need to 2-for-1 yourself in order to answer it. Otherwise, the 1-drop's gonna 2-for-1 you. Watergrave. Is this Shadow? Oh, it is Shadow. Okay. So they already have what's his name? They already have the thingy, Delirium. Double Hierarch. Okay. So let's get Temple Garden. Just gonna double down. Double down on Hierarchy. I don't think I want to attack though. I can cast anything that I draw besides a Knight of the Reliquary, so I don't really want to. Oh, that means I can kill the Shadow. Does that mean I want to attack? I think so. Actually, no, I don't think so. Let's just chill here. Let's just not attack until we have a Shadow covered. Maybe because of Ledger Shredder, I should have played out the Blast Zone, but I don't think so. Like if this game keeps going like this, I like. Okay, so if they have green, white, 1. If they have an Holy Heat, they're gonna get to kill my knight. Oh, drown. Okay, that's also fine. But yeah, I think I'm supposed to just like keep passing the turn. Although I guess my opponent has Expressive Iteration, so maybe just passing the turn is bad. But now they're gonna get to deploy their Shadow. Oh, was a Shadow all along. Okay, so good thing that I didn't attack then. Voice of Resurgence is actually not the worst. Is this gonna get drowned as well? Yes, no, maybe? It is. Alright. They're 100% top decking Expressive Iteration. 100% top decking Expressive Iteration here. Alright, Jegantha to hand I can beat. Outland Liberator. You got it. We're playing an Outland Liberator. But again, like because we have Fiend in our deck, I don't want to attack because these Hierarchs are actually valuable just as fodder for the Fiend. So we're in a little bit of a weird spot where we kind of don't want to attack my opponent. Now this DRC obviously changes the math, right? Because now I'm actually getting raised. There's also the fact that I can just kill their dudes. Prismatic Ending is very nice. And I think I want to cast it on the DRC so I can keep playing this game. So let's just Prismatic Ending, the DRC. I can swing for 4. If I do, my opponent takes it, then the Shadow becomes a 5/5. They bolt my dude. Okay. Still no attack from the Hierarchs. Opponent did keep on top there, which is scary. So I imagine there's an iteration or something, maybe another DRC or whatever. It can't be a second Shadow. Maybe it's a drown. I'll take 1 for sure. I think my opponent should have been attacking for 1 for like the last couple of turns. Like they can't really be afraid of the crackback because if I do attack back, then I lose the race. So every deck is a breach deck now. Is that modern? Every deck is just a breach deck. Literally every deck is a breach deck. Honestly, it makes sense. Like this card is absurdly broken for how like the little amount of play this card has seen in the modern format where it's been legal since its printing. It's pretty criminal, to be honest. That's a Thalia. Okay. Well, Thalia is coming down. Still no attack. This Shadow remaining tiny is in my best interest. Expressive Iteration has been drawn. A 3-mana one at that. I don't think I should be playing around... I don't think I should be playing around Timur Battle Rage. Okay, take 3. Seems fine to me. They play the bubble for 1. Sounds good. They do know what I'm drawing. A Tracker. Tracker is interesting. I do think I'm interested in continuing to blank my opponents. I'm gonna start attacking now, but I think I'm interested in trying to make my opponents top decks as bad as possible. So I think that trying to raise is important. Also, Redundant Shadows don't do anything because of the Blast Zone. DRC is also a bad draw for my opponent. Ragavan is a bad draw for my opponent. Okay, Volt for the Tracker is fine. Like, Thoughtseize is a bad draw for my opponent as well. That's why I wanted to play out the Tracker. If they attack, I'm going to have to block, because otherwise I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. For 3... Am I supposed to play around Call against? Probably not. They're playing Breach. Terminate my Thalia. Okay, my Tracker is gone, so no use in holding on to that. And if I draw Solitude, this is better. Now the question is whether I want to crack this Blast Zone on my end step to kill my opponent. I don't think I do. 5 mana for Jegantha. My reasoning being, if I draw Solitude, I want to be able to just hardcast it. That's brutal. So now I'm going to have to kill this Shadow in combat. Otherwise I just die. Man, this was pretty frustrating game. So let's just crack this Blast Zone. Like, I had many turns to draw something good. I have very many turns to draw something good, and I just didn't. If they have Iteration, I'm just gonna Breach shit. But I had so many turns to find answers, and I just never saw any card that did anything. So Collector Oof can go, Liberator can go. Fire Justice is actually interesting. Clothis seems great. Ren and 6 seems fine. Endurance seems okay as well. Unengineered Explosive, these are the cards that I'm kind of interested in. Fire Justice used to be tech back in the Gurmag Angler decks. You would kill a Gurmag Angler, have your opponent game 5, and maybe kill some shadows in the process. I think I like Fire Justice well enough. I think the bolts can... actually, I have to answer Monkey, so never mind. Maybe I get rid of the Hierarchs. I could cut Monkeys as well. Just rely on lands. Solitude seems really good. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut Monkeys. Just go with this. Jegantha revealed. I guess we keep this. We don't really have many plays, but we do have access to Solitude, which is good in the matchup. And as long as we hit land drops, eventually we're gonna be in a good spot. Turn 1 Thoughtseize seems fine. Oh, Stomping Ground. This means I can go Fiend Artisan. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play out the Fiend Artisan. It's not super likely that my opponent has Fatal Push. Yep. So now we may be able to untap with Artisan. Funny that we can make this a 3/3 at instant speed if we wanted to. It's pretty funny. Sure. Opponent shredding over there. I could just Fiery Justice this. Does that matter? Bolt. Well, Bolt doesn't do anything. So the question is, do I Justice this? Or do I Endurance? I could just play out the Knight of Reliquary. This is the highest upside. I think I'm going to go for the highest upside, considering that my opponent does not have removal right now. If we do untap with Knight, I think I'm going to feel fairly favored. And I can still Justice this Shredder for just 5 points of damage, even if they connive again. Looks like I may get to untap here. Okay. So Volsage is not going to do anything, so I'm just going to play it out as a land. Green, red, white. Fiery Justice for 5. Wait, what? Oh, okay. That was weird. Oh, I guess it made me choose an opponent to gain 5 life. So if they have Spell Pierce, I can pay for it. And Drown doesn't do anything. So that's nice. Dryad Arrow would, oddly enough, be pretty decent here. I think I'm just going to chill. I'm not interested in making my opponent's shadows good. And we're just taking it slow here. I just realized that we actually have the power move of being playing a 14 card sideboard. Actually, we're not. My deck list in my thing had 14 cards. That's a monkey. Just gonna bold that. So this is awkward because now my knight dies to drown. But I think that's fine. Let's fetch here. I just want to grow the Knight of the Reliquary. Get Temple Garden. Untap. Now I can just endurance myself if I have to. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. My opponent's not doing anything, so I'm not gonna give them the satisfaction of doing something. So now end step, we're just gonna cast one of these endurance, and I think that we are at this point we are far ahead enough where we can start pressuring, because I can just go find a blast zone if I need to. Dress down. Okay. So I'm gonna sack this and get a blast zone in response. And holy heat. Yeah, that's fine. So now we're gonna have dress down for the entirety of this turn. And I think I attack anyway. We could get a free Solitude, but I think I'd rather just have access to pitch Solitude instead. Alright, they shock, they're gonna drop some shadows here. Here is another endurance. Just playing endurance control. Drowning the Lock. Okay. Voice seems good. Actually, I'm just gonna sack the voice here. X equals 1. Oh no, I cut all my ones. Oof, I almost made a pretty bad mistake there. Yeah, we're just chilling. So I do have access to Solitude if I need it. Fiend Artisan actually doing a decent amount of work. It just gives me a lot of control just by being in play. Yep. To the point where my opponent just has to kill it. Otherwise, it's gonna get out of hand. Opponent down to 2 cards. And of course, they have Breach. So now, am I just dead? So I have to block. So since I have to block, I'm gonna block with Endurance. Because they're gonna dress down. I could pitch Solitude, but again, I think just getting to hardcast mode is gonna be irrelevant. So I need to make a land off the top into a good draw. I think my opponent is considering whether to draw a card or whether to unholy heat. So I don't think they can do both. But they can heat the voice right now to prevent me from getting a token later. But that's not what they choose to do. Okay. It was a pretty decent breach, but I've seen better. Oh, funny. It actually, the Death Shadow actually dies. That's hilarious. Alright. So land's good. Spells are also good. Fiend Artisan is pretty good. 5U. Terminate. Okay. Anta to hand, I assume. Monkey. Okay, we're gonna take the 2 here, I think. Hope that my opponent doesn't flip something too good. Ah, yes, of course. Of course. Why wouldn't they flip Prismatic Ending, right? Why wouldn't they flip a clean answer to my Voice of Resurgence? Why wouldn't they do that, right? It's just a 1-drop, right? How good can it really be? If there were greatest hits of like worst cards, I'm in such pain right now. I am in such deep, profound pain. And I've been like very, very purposely not cracking this blast zone so that I can make it more likely that I get to 5 mana. And it's just no use at all. It just has not mattered whatsoever. I'm just never gonna find my 5th land drop. It's just not gonna happen, is it? Of course, Dash Monkey plays around my Fiery Justice. This is just devastating. There goes the Temple Garden. That would have been decent. Okay. Frustrating. Just frustrating. Of course, they have Express. Ay. This has been a very frustrating game. This has been a very, very frustrating game. They still have access to Jegantha. So they discard Thoughtseize and they reveal Express Iteration of Iteration. Okay. Opponent's just going off over there. Just going off. Of course, if they ever find a breach, I just lose the game. Unless I top deck exactly Endurance. Dress down. Okay. They can wait till end step to cast the Dress down. To deny me the lifelink. Okay, let's see what we find. Knight of the Oracle is pretty good. Do I want to trade? I don't think so. I don't want to play Knight. Obviously, we lose to Breach. We just can't beat that card. Another iteration would be bad. Shadow doesn't really matter. Shadow doesn't really matter. Breach, we lose 2. Removal on Knight would be bad for me, but potentially beatable. So they play Shredder, and now what? They have to have a gazillion answers here, right? Call against command, discard, return Shredder. Okay. And play the second Shredder. Okay. Oof. So if I attack with Knight, they have to chomp. So what I can do is I can crack Blast Zone to kill the Ragavan, then attack with Knight and Solitude, and they're forced to chomp the Knight, so they can't double block the Solitude. So I think this is the line. But I think they're just gonna take the Solitude attack. Oh, they just double chomp. Okay. I guess they see that I have Bolt, so they don't want to be dead to Lightning Bolt, which is defensible. But now they have, I mean, they can only drown the Knight. They can't heat it unless they double heat. Also pretty funny that the Call Against Command trigger is the thing that is showing up in the graveyard as opposed to the actual card. That's pretty hilarious. They're Dashing Monkey. Please don't flip Prismatic Ending. I swear, Monkey, if you flip Prismatic Ending, Monkey, I'm going to be upset. Okay, just a land, that's fine. You may flip just a land. Shadow. Okay, that's actually quite interesting. So they draw a card of the turn. Okay, so do we think that my opponent's last card... I guess they have Monkey and they have one last card in hand. So do we think that my opponent's last card is Dress Down exactly? I don't think I'm supposed to play around Dress Down here, so I'm just going to serve with both. And I'm just going to upkeep bolt them. I guess I'm dead if they don't have it, so maybe like the upkeep is just unnecessary. Alright, we did get there. Perfect. Game 3. That was a slug. Yeah, I think this is fine. Prismatic Ending, Thalia, decent cards all around. Yeah, let's keep this. Alright. We draw Fiend Artisan. Okay. Opponent fetches and shocks, unsurprisingly. They could dash Monkey. Shredder. Okay, so we're just gonna fetch for Garden, untap, and I think we just play Thalia here as opposed to Prismatic Ending, because this is just gonna clunk my opponent's turn a little bit, or at least it's gonna force them to use removal spell on the Thalia because before they can do anything else. It's gonna make it tougher for them to be able to double spell. And now we do have an option, like we can go, I think I'm just gonna Prismatic Ending the Shredder, and then play out Jumping Ground tapped. Say go, no attacks. My opponent is super low on clock. We are 13 minutes ahead on clock. So I think I'm just going to, the right strategy is to, I mean, whether they are low on clock or not, I think it's correct for me to just not do anything here. I could have Endurance myself to save the Thalia. I don't think it's worth it. Iteration. Bloodstained Mire. Bubble. Let's see if they they bubble themselves. Ugh. So that gets the Endurance. Yep. Alright. So they draw from Bubble. Renin 6 is interesting. Yep. Let's play that one. And I think I'm just gonna play Burning Catacombs and go. Okay, so they know that my hand is Fiend Artisan. They don't know anything else, I don't think. Shredder into Iteration. I mean, there's a way that they can just kill me before I get to stabilize, but it's gonna be pretty tough for them to kill me with no clock and me sitting at 19. For them to kill me in time. They also, like, the entire match they've been playing crazily slow, so I don't think that all of a sudden they're just going to be able to play a lot faster. Voice is kind of nice. Play that tapped. Green, white. Play a voice. Green, green. Play Fiend Artisan, say go. Discarding Call Against Command. So they exile the Call Against Command to Iteration and they discarded a second one. So I guess they don't want to be winning with Call Against Command. Also, I'm mono 2-drop, so this Blast Zone is not going to be blowing up this Ledger Shredder. Heat, my dude. You got it. Terminate, my dude. You got it. I am F6th. Discarding Terminate. Very interesting. And play Shadow. Well, I'm just gonna play and crack Blast Zone and then like get it back. Let's get back Blast Zone. I'm not gonna attack because they could dash Monkey. I think it's very likely my opponent should just be F6ing. They're just taking up too much time. Like they're just gonna time out. They should have been just like attacking an f6 and I'm just hoping that I don't have an answer to the Shredder. I think that was the only correct line, because this is just taking up so much of their clock. Particularly Breach is a very, very time-consuming card to play, right? You need to play the card, you need to like exile a bunch of things. Also, they know I have the answer in hand. They literally know that I have a Blast Zone that I'm getting back with Ren. So we're just gonna win because of the timeout. Play a Blast Zone, crack it. Perfect. All right, 3-1. Let's go, Maverick. Last match. Let's see if we can get that W. And I guess we're gonna keep this. I think we're gonna go get Stomping Ground, even though we already have 2 green and white sources, because we want extra green first of all, and also because we want to be able to cast Fiend Artisan on turn 3. But yeah, maybe we can have Monkey Connect, get a little bit of value. Opponent keeps 7. I guess they keep 8 because they're playing Kaheera. Stomping Ground, turn 1 Monkey, your go. See what they do. Imagine Prismatic ending my Monkey. This to be the case. So now on turn 2, I have the option to Hierarch or to Fiend Artisan. I think I'm gonna Fiend Artisan. It's just like a good window to resolve it. Also, I can attack with it if I need to. This is most likely either a control deck or I guess it could just be an elementals deck. But now seeing Scalding Tarn, I'm gonna err towards this is probably gonna be cycling this. So I guess I want to go play Hierarch. And then I'm going to attack because they can't be playing Snapcaster. So I'm just going to get in there for 2. I mean, if this gets Counterspell, kind of ecstatic, right? I think that's what my opponent is thinking about. And to be honest, it's not crazy to Counterspell this, considering that I have a Fiend Artisan in play. And very likely I can turn these into a real card next turn. In fact, I'm probably going to turn it into a Tireless Tracker. And then just play my land to get a clue. Alternatively, I could turn it into a Voice of Resurgence. Okay. Swing for 2. See if my opponent does anything. They don't. I think I'm going to go with the tapped land. So if nothing changes here, we can actually just go for Tracker next turn. Fire Ice would obviously be a blowout. Not too much I can do about that. If they just play Teferi, bounce my Fiend Artisan, I can then answer the Teferi. Oh, Ren and 6. That sucks. Not much I could have done about that. Okay. That's a fun way to answer the Ren and 6. So attack, Ren, see if my opponent has an answer. And if they do, I can just play it. Wow. Wow. Pitching Leyline Binding. Wow, this is great. Alright. Prismatic ending your Ren. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna be. I have enough mana, so I'm probably just gonna be cycling the Jetmir's Garden. Also, if I find my own Ren and 6, it's of course a lot better. Hey, look at that. I imagine if they do have counter magic, this one's gonna get countered. Yep. Okay, so it is just a control deck. No fetching to find Leyline Binding. It's interesting. To find Leyline Binding Enabler, you know, like a Black Source. Yeah, that's pretty bad for me. Ren kills the Hierarch. Let's see if they have another counter spell, I guess. Or, yeah. Ren and 6. Oh, come on. They have another counter. Yep. Okay, you got me. So now they have Ren going. So they're going to be hitting their land drops every turn for the remainder of the game. And we don't know what the rest of the cards in hand may be. Here's Knight. I'm going to hold on to this land because I'm not going to be using the mana for anything. And also, I can draw a Tireless Tracker. Okay. So their hand is a land that they got back thanks to Ren. So we're going to attack Ren here. And they can make a... Oh, they're just going to hardcast Solitude. Oh, Wandering Emperor. That's a card. That is most certainly a card. Sure, so they're just a full-on control deck. Just no messing around. Just full-on control deck. But yeah, I was probably not going to be playing around Wandering Emperor. Also, this was going to get me regardless. So even if I activate Denial, my opponent plays the Wandering Emperor at that point, right? So I don't think there's too much playing around that card. Alright, so they tap out for Kaheera here. But they can turn it into a threat thanks to the Emperor. It's kind of messed up, actually. Fiend Artisan. Am I gonna be upticking Blast Zone? I guess so. I guess I am. I guess I could have also done that last turn. Opponent fetches on my end step, then untaps. This thing having Vigilance is kind of very annoying. No, the Fairy. Okay. So let's put a charge counter on the Blast Zone. No attacks. No activation, I mean. They're going to make it 2-2. Okay. Collector Roof doesn't do anything at all. So we're just going to play Fiend Artisan again. And I guess we're just going to uptick this Blast Zone. There's not really anything of value that we can get with this Fiend Artisan, so there's no use in playing out the Collector Roof, I don't think. We're going to take 7 this turn. But then next turn we do get to clear the Kaheera at least. I guess, no, I couldn't have blocked there. I can attack the Wandering Emperor with and trade the Samurai token for Fiend Artisan. Doesn't seem particularly great. Omnath 2. Okay, yeah, we can't beat that one. Alright, so my opponent's playing some sort of fun combo, some fun deck over there. So I like these cards. Prismatic Ending seems decent versus... what's his name? I don't like Collector Roof, obviously. I do think Liberator is fine as a one-off because it can blow up Leyline Bindings. I do like Monkeys, don't necessarily want Bolts. Fire Justice only hits... oh, it does hit Planeswalker. Huh. So Fire Justice is interesting. I kind of want the Fire Justices. Probably not over Prismatic Ending though, but definitely over the Bolts. So Voice is obviously great. Monkey's great. Thalia's great. Maybe a couple of Knights can go. Just keep everything else. This looks decent. Endurance seems okay. Like, it's not a card I'm super excited about, but it's a 3-4 that I can play at my opponent's end step, which potentially gives me some leeway. Kind of brutal that... so we have to get green-white here. A little bit brutal that we don't have access to the fetch land, right? We had to use the fetch land, so we can't just Renegade Radier. So green-white. I could play Magus there, but I don't think it really does anything, right? It locks me out more than it locks my opponent out. But I can play Magus on the following turn, or after I have found a basic. Hopefully Voice is going to do a little bit of damage. Although I guess Magus just gets Leyline, so it's not that good even. It just gets Solitude, sorry. Okay. They're going to Solitude as well. No Solitude. But Renin 6 is a hell of a draw. Renin 6 is a very, very good draw right there. That is a very, very good draw. That was a pretty good top there. I'm going to fetch for a basic forest. Plus swing for 2. Okay. This is acceptable to me. This is very acceptable to me. So I can even try to get cuter and just Rallier here. But I think there's just more value in just slamming this mag. So now my opponent is on Solitude or Bust. Because Basic Island doesn't really do anything for them. They don't have good attacks. It's a good draw too. So plus, get land, play land, Prismatic Ending, exile that one. Swing with the 3/3s, I think. They take it. Now we untap, see what's up. 4 mana to bounce my Maggot. Okay. I mean, we're still kind of in very good shape here. Now they can hardcast Solitude, I guess. They shock. Okay. Let's see if they have the Prismatic Ending for the Ren. So they play the land already, so if they have the Ren in 6, they can't fetch for a basic. And next turn we have a very nice sequence where we can go land. So crack fetch, Ren in 6 plus, get back my fetch land. Then Renegade Rallier, threaten to get back Voice. And if my opponent doesn't counter that, then if they want to counter the Magus specifically, we just get extra value that way. All of these, well, we have 2 elemental tokens in play. I'm not afraid of Omnath. I'm not afraid of Wandering Emperor or anything like that. Solitude. But it just has to target one of my elementals, so it's not really that big of a deal. Opponent deep in the tank about that turn. Okay. So they get rid of Ren. 3 mana, so they could potentially have another endurance. It's a good draw. So we're just gonna make the play that I was saying earlier. So we're just gonna go fetch for, I guess we have 6 double green, only 2 double white, so I'm gonna get the extra green source here. And now we can go white 1. Actually, let's shock and let's play green, white, green, play Rallier. So this is gonna force my opponent's hand. Get back voice. If they do have endurance, they have to cast it right now. Archmage's Charm, get a 1/1. Sounds good. That will resolve. Here's a Blood Moon effect, and here's a swing for 4. On the chump, unsurprisingly. So now there's nothing they can have, so sweet. Alright, awesome. I still don't like bolts, although they're playing more creatures than I originally anticipated. But none of those creatures actually die to bolt, which is awkward. I think Fire Justice is better than probably Ignoble or Noble, because Ragavan can play around Ren, but these cannot. Also Thalia does not seem great against Ren, but that's kind of how it goes. I'm not super high on Teague. Maybe a Knight is just better than Teague. It only stops Wandering Emperor because everything else is just a creature. They could have Wrath effects, but that's fine. Yeah, Sam seems pretty good. Turn 2 Ren. Seems strong. Keep Scalding Tarn. Outland Liberator. Classic. Opponent fetches for... Are they gonna play around Magus or not? That's a big question. I think I'm fetching for Jetmir's Garden. Okay, so I'm not playing around Magus. They are going to Ren. But so are we. There's an argument for casting Endurance here, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to hard cast this Endurance. Okay, so we pass the turn. Let's get the Garden. Then we're going to fetch for a basic forest and play my own Ren and 6. Gonna plus pass the turn. So my opponent's gonna get some value from their Ren, which is fine. I wonder how much they choose to play around Endurance. Looks like not very much because they're just main phase cracking. They're gonna cast something here. The Fairy. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna have to main phase play this Endurance, I guess. Ooh, Dashed Monkey is interesting. So we Dash Monkey plus play Fiend Artisan, I guess? Actually, we're gonna have to play Liberator, because otherwise we're gonna go to discard. Definitely attacking face instead of the Planeswalkers. Ha! Supreme Verdict. They did have the Supreme Verdict. Yeah. Basic Forest. I'm just gonna cast the Fiend Artisan here. Oh, what am I doing? I just said why I'm supposed to cast the... Man, that was just 100% a brain fart. Like there's no... there are just no explanations there. I mean, I can save it by Endurancing now. That is so bad, though. Yeah, this is very much a brain fart. But the 3/4 body is actually quite valuable, I think. Man, I was very much supposed to play this Outland Liberator. Well, this is awkward now. I think I'm gonna go for it because it's just really, really bad otherwise. Like, they just don't even use a card. Just minus their Ren. They just get too much value. Okay. Oh, they get Saggle's Triumph. Alright. Right after we pitched our Outland Liberator. So super punished. Extremely, extremely punished. Oh well. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. That is how the cookie crumbles. So this doesn't do anything anymore. So I guess I'm just gonna go Thalia into Artisan. We can Syndrome Boseiju, I guess. And I could throw this Ragavan into the Chalice just to grow the Fiend Artisan if I wanted to. So that grows the Fiend Artisan. Another Leyline Binding. Yep. Things are spiraling out of control a little bit here. And we draw another blank. I think that's probably game. They have a counterspell for this. Archmage. Yeah, I think that's game. I guess I can draw exactly Tireless Tracker. And maybe I can get 2 clues off of Tracker, and that allows me to gain some traction. But with 2 dead cards in hand, I don't think that even that is going to save me here. That was a really big punt. That was just like I have no I have no excuse for that. It was just a brain fart, and it was just a misplay. I obviously meant to cast the Liberator, and I just clicked on the wrong thing. It happens. Sometimes it just happens. So they played Kaheera, but no casting. So I'm assuming that they have some form of counter magic. Still holding onto the land for Tireless Tracker, but I don't think we're... Yeah, so Endurance makes my graveyard go away. Now they ping. Okay, I've seen enough. 3 and 2 will have to do. Okay, so this was the deck list that I actually played, which was 61-14. That's why it was showing that. So as you can see, like, this was clearly something that I was working on and trying to improve, and not the way that I intended for the deck to be built. But I feel like I did learn a couple of things from this league. Number one thing that I learned is that Voice of Resurgence is pretty mediocre, but actually does something. So I was expecting this was going to be like the first card that I was going to cut, and that was just not the case. Like, I was fairly happy with it towards the end. The Knights of Reliquary were one of the worst cards in the deck, so maybe the original list had only 3, and I think that was correct. Again, like, I was just brainstorming here, so I wasn't sure if I wanted the 4th one, but it was kind of like a placeholder. Another thing is that Liberator is probably not the main deck thing that you want. Because having access to the 2/1 body can be relevant. So I think it's better to have Knight of Autumn as the main deck card instead of Outland Liberator. So that's another thing to consider. Number 3 is the mana base. I wanted to add more lands because I wanted to add more cards that cast Ren on turn 1. Oh, Ragavan on turn 1, sorry. But in the process, I added extra Sacred Foundries, which Sacred Foundries don't help me cast my Fiend Artisan. So that is something to keep in mind. So maybe this deck should just be 3 Stomping Grounds and like 10 fetch lands or something like that. Just a singleton Sacred Foundry, maybe a singleton Basic Plains or something like that. The original deck list had a bunch of like tutor target lands like Ghost Squatter and Raging Ravine. So all of, and even Dry Diver, like all of those, even though I do see the upside of drawing Dry Diver alongside Fiend Artisan, the card is just too bad. That's just the problem that it has. Like, the upside is there, certainly, but it basically only works when you have... So you can't really count it as a land because it only works when you already have your mana base established and you have the Fiend Artisan in play, and then you actually draw a fetch land for turn. So I think that's a lot of ifs, and I think that you're better off just having more cards that more mana sources that cast your spells on curve. I think you're going to be winning much more matches by doing that kind of stuff than getting cute with cards like Dry Diver. So that's something that I wanted to throw out there. Thalia was pretty mediocre. This felt like one of the worst cards in the deck. The main deck Collector Oof was also pretty medium. Like, it just worked against the Karn random like Tron Aspiring Spike deck. So I think that something that we may want to do with a deck like this is to maximize on the good cards and minimize on the QT. And just because you're playing Fiend Artisan and you have access to this sort of toolbox doesn't mean you really have to go so hard on it, if that makes sense. So you can have like the singleton Knight of Autumn or whatever, but like a single Tireless Tracker in a deck that doesn't have that many lands can be a little bit awkward. So you probably want to either play more trackers or kind of play none of them. So you kind of have to choose which way you want to go. I don't think the Collector Oof is a good main deck card. I think it's a solid sideboard card, but not necessarily a good main deck card. I do think that the hierarchs are actually nice. I was expecting the hierarchs were going to be bad overall, but it turns out that just having random fodder to sack to the Fiend Artisan can be very, very relevant. And besides Ren and 6, which obviously it's a kind of a pain for this deck to deal with, besides specifically Ren and 6, there's not that many cards that really answer this while getting an advantage. So just having the random critter sitting in there, your opponent doesn't really want to kill it, and then you find your artisan, and then hopefully it's a big dude by that time, and you can just go from there. So I thought that this ended up being a lot more promising than I originally gave it credit for, which is very, very exciting. But obviously, Modern is a pretty cutthroat format, and I don't know how much you can really mess around with this kind of things. So I would definitely start by fixing the mana, going up to 23 lands, and then definitely 9 or 10 fetch lands, more green and red sources for turn 1 spells, and then kind of going from there. Less Knight of the Reliquary, more sort of value stuff, and then probably less Thalia. Probably, I don't know if it's even worth playing the Thalia to begin with. Also, another thing that could be interesting is either Esper Sentinel or Giver of Runes. Those are gonna make your mana requirements a lot tougher though, because that means that you want red on turn 1 to cast your Ragaments and your Bolts, and then you want white but then you also want white on turn 1 to cast your Giver and your Esper Sentinel. So maybe that will make your mana base a little bit shakier. So, but that's probably something to try out. Certainly, I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I ended up throwing a little bit the last match. I think that we were pretty far behind anyway, like with my opponent having a rent, so I don't think things would have been much different. But I would have given a little bit more of a fight. As is, we just kind of rolled over and died. But this deck was a lot of fun. I could see myself trying something like this in the future, and you will definitely see me trying something like this in the future, because we have an Absan list similar to this one, also by Toolbox Hero. So thank you so much for the dono decks. We're going to be trying that one up next, so don't miss out on that one. But this is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. If you'd like to support my content, you can do so by using TCG Player and Mana Traders' services. With the link that you will find in the description down below, you can also find 10% discount on your Mana Traders for the first 2 months. And finally, Patreon. Direct donos just like this one. You can find all of the information in the description of the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Take care, folks, and bye-bye.